This is Prince Rupert, British Columbia, and it's not just one of Canada's best kept secrets, but my favorite place to visit in the entire country. A quiet mountain town tucked into the corner of the Pacific Northwest, just off the Alaskan coast. In this video, I'm taking you along 5 days composed of the very best that the Rainbow City has to offer, from whale watching like you've never seen before, a century-old train station converted to serve world-class pizza and green tea, great burgers, fly fishing, all the natural beauty that surrounds it, hugging locals in blue pajamas, and flying above all of it on a float plane, all in a town that just 1 century ago was slated to become Canada's metropolis of the North for a railway empire that never was. And at the end, I'm taking a sleeper train out of Prince Rupert, across the breathtaking, scenic, sweeping landscapes of the North, right through the peak of the fall colors. It may not be what most people think of when they think of the best kept secrets of Canada, but trust me, you're going to want to come visit this cute and quaint mountain town. Let's begin. Most people have never heard of Prince Rupert, and you may be wondering why I love it so much. Well, back in May, I came here on the train, better known as the Skeena, which features some of the most dramatic scenery in Canada that nobody seems to know about. Now, the train itself was more so my destination, and Prince Rupert was just an added bonus, or so I thought. And when I got here over the course of 4 days, from kayaking and catching crabs, watching bald eagles, world-class sushi, and some of the best pizza I've ever had from a batting cage of all places. But most importantly, for me, it was the people. Despite having a year-round population of only 12,000, I was really taken back by how friendly everybody was, and it honestly really reminded me of the slice of Canada that I grew up in back in Manitoba, one that currently feels like it doesn't exist anymore. So, as you can imagine, coming back really didn't take much convincing.
The next station is Terminus Station, YVR Airport.
And so my journey begins, bright and early, here in Vancouver, where I'd head down to the YVR Airport, and following a gorgeous sunrise over the North Shore Mountains, I board my flight.
This is going to be fun.
And we take off, climbing above the city skyline and making a slight turn towards the north and heading towards the coastal mountain ranges. Flying into Terrace, BC is dramatically cheaper than flying directly into Prince Rupert, so that's exactly what I did. And I would land, and following a short 90-minute drive, I'd arrive back in town into the Rainbow City. Prince Rupert gets more rainfall than anywhere else in Canada, about 3 meters annually to be specific. But if you don't like the weather, just give it 5 minutes because it'll probably change. And right in the heart of downtown stands the statue of the man that made everything you're seeing a reality. This statue is for Charles Melville Hays, and don't let the modern rewrite of Canadian history fool you. Hays was one of the most consequential pioneers in Canada's history. At the turn of the 20th century, Hays took over the helm of the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway, and with the Canadian Pacific already having a 20-year head start with their coast-to-coast railway, Hays was prized to complete the biggest engineering project in the world. A coast-to-coast railway from Moncton, New Brunswick to their headquarters in Montreal, before making it into the prairies of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and stretching 3,000 kilometers northwest to the Pacific coast, ending right here in Prince Rupert. Now, despite being nearly 1,000 kilometers further from Winnipeg than the Canadian Pacific was in Vancouver, Hays believed its port, being 2 days closer by ship to Asia, would draw global traffic. And when passengers saw the terrain that his trains traversed, he knew there would be no comparison. Construction began in 1903 with the government funding the entire railway up towards Winnipeg, where the Grand Trunk Pacific would then take over. They would begin in Winnipeg, stretching to Melville, Saskatchewan in 1906, and into Saskatoon for 1907. They'd pierce across the prairies and into Edmonton by 1908, and through to the Rockies of Jasper in 1909, Prince George, BC by 1911, and finally reaching the coast in Prince Rupert in 1914, driving home the last spike on April 7th of that year. In less than 1 decade, Hays had transformed what was once a dense coastal rainforest into a clear development ready to tackle his vision of turning Prince Rupert into Canada's metropolis of the north that he had envisioned. And backed by deep-pocketed investors back in London, Hays would set out to build a network of the most luxurious railway hotels the world had ever seen. He'd start in Ottawa, Washington of the North as he called it, and construct the Chateau Laurier, heading west into the prairies of Winnipeg and constructing the Fort Garry Hotel a year later. From there, they'd build the Hotel Macdonald in Edmonton for 1915, with plans for 5 more hotels to come. The Chateau Coupel in Regina, the Chateau Myatt Hot Springs in Jasper, the Chateau Mount Robson, the Chateau Prince George, and the crown jewel of all of them, the Chateau Prince Rupert. A 15-story castle constructed of the same Indiana limestone and copper roof, just like all the other Chateau hotels, with a central tower and 2 adjacent 12-story wings beside it, with all 450 rooms towering above the Pacific coast, ensuring that the chateau would be the first sight of Prince Rupert that you would see, whether you arrived by steamship or by train. And Hays even hired Francis Rattenbury, who drew up the original Banff Springs, Chateau Lake Louise, and Empress Hotel designs for the Canadian Pacific, but had recently been fired for creative freelancing, which was exactly why Hays hired him. From the grandest of ballrooms to breathtaking dining rooms, and if you have had the chance to see how beautiful the Chateau Laurier, Fort Garry, or Hotel Macdonald are today, considering that all of them were considered to be watered-down versions of what Hays had planned for Prince Rupert, for me, it is crazy to imagine what could have been here, and for context, the Chateau Prince Rupert would have been pretty much the exact same size as the 3rd Hotel Vancouver that opened in 1939 and still stands today. But in April of 1912, Hays had traveled to Europe to secure more funding, pick up the entire furniture order for the Chateau Laurier's grand opening in less than 2 weeks, and most importantly make a deal with the White Star Line to bring passengers across the Atlantic to ride a Grand Trunk Pacific passenger train. But as fate would have it, Hays would find himself on board the Titanic and go down with the greatest ocean liner of his time that night. And now without their visionary to push forward, and the switch from a liberal prime minister in Wilfrid Laurier working with Hays to build his vision to a new conservative prime minister in Robert Borden who was very anti-competition for the Canadian Pacific, the funding would dry up, terms would change, and the dream of Prince Rupert truly did go down with the Titanic at 2 a.m. on April 15th of 1912. The Grand Trunk Pacific would go belly up in 1920, and they were the last of over 120 railways to go bankrupt and absorb into a new government-operated Canadian National Railways. But there is some good news, and that was that Prince Rupert would get its first train station in 1922, and that station would serve passengers until 1986, when Via Rail Canada would close her doors for good. The station sat vacant until 2020, when a brewery owned by 3 locals would step up to restore it, and in 2023, for the first time in almost 40 years, the station would open. The original doors and the entire exterior restored beautifully, and the old roof transformed into a stunning 270-degree viewing dome overlooking the harbor. This is Wheelhouse Brewing, and 2 years after bringing this once great station back to life, they are serving over 10,000 beers and 3,000 pizzas every month, and they are cranking out every one of them in this $60,000 custom pizza oven delivered straight from Naples, Italy. And they even do chicken wings in this 600-degree oven, all served with scratch-made sauces. Now personally, I don't drink, but Wheelhouse has something that I think is even better. They're serving up a carbonated green tea. And yes, you heard that right. It may sound weird, but they brew the tea in-house and sweeten it with a little bit of pure honey, carbonated and served on tap, and they even have a non-alcoholic ginger beer, boiling fresh ginger and lemon, sweetened with more of that pure honey, and kept cool on tap, served in the keg. And I'm telling you, this stuff is dangerously good. I mean, it will be impossible to just have one. And couple that with a nice greasy wheel loaded high with all the meats. This is hands down my new favorite spot in town to eat, from great pizza, great non-alcoholic beverages, and all that historic railway charm still intact right here along the waterfront. Especially if you're visiting off a cruise ship rolling into the Rainbow City. Cruise ships glide into Prince Rupert through the Inside Passage from San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria en route to Alaska. They dock every Monday and Friday morning from May until October, and outside of the Wheelhouse, Prince Rupert also has trolley tours where you can basically hear all the stories and history that I'm showing you here in this video. Yep, your narrator probably won't be as tall, or handsome, or charming as yours truly, but it's only steps away from the ships and definitely worth taking a look at. The cruise ships drop off all passengers at the Atlan terminal, which is only steps away from Prince Rupert's most popular coffee shop, Cowpuccino's, named after the historic Cow Bay and not America's favorite gangster, Tony Montana. Now, today the cows are long gone, but the espresso is still pouring strong, as you see here. I thought it was kind of nice because it was monsoon raining this morning, and then I get a little bit of cover for my latte in Cow Bay at the legendary Cowpuccino's, named after Cow Bay and cappuccinos. Not, I thought it was Al Pacino at first, but I was wrong.
Say hello to my little friend!
Doing a float plane sea tour over the Prince Rupert Harbour, and we might even get a little bit lucky. The rain has gone away. The sun is going to come out. We might even get a little bit of rainbow. There's a cruise ship in town. Things are shaping up here. Whether you arrive by train or plane, I hope this video inspires you to feel what I felt back in May and what I'm feeling here again at the end of September. And when a local company called Inland Air Charters offered to squeeze me in for a last-minute flight around the island, well, what better way to show you all the natural beauty of Prince Rupert than from above? The town of Prince Rupert sits here on Kaien Island, and the port that you see right here just passed Halifax for being the third busiest in all of Canada, moving over $60 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars of goods annually. The next morning, I was up bright and early. Now, on my trip in May, I saw how breathtaking the sunsets could be, but I'd never heard of Prince Rupert having great sunrises. And boy oh boy, I was treated to a gorgeous sunrise coming over the horizon this morning, with a little bit of that mist clearing out from last night, and the sun scheduled to come out for pretty much most of the day. Doesn't get much better. And although Rupert does get a bit of a bad reputation for never being sunny, when you compare the rain to the sunny days, it's pretty easy to see why it's so alluring to live here, especially with all the natural beauty on full display. And this morning, with zero liquid sunshine in the forecast, and today being the last day of the year for whale watching, well, that's exactly what I did. There's the boat, and this is my seat. The whale watching will commence right here, and the whales will be over there somewhere, hopefully. We pulled away from the harbor, and we'd head northwest for our commute, heading up the Metlakatla Pass towards the Alaskan border.
It's you!
He is the alpha bald eagle around town, and if you saw my 4 days in Prince Rupert video back from the spring, he's perched pretty much in the exact same spot he was almost 4 months ago when I saw him last. And don't worry, we'll catch up with him in a few hours on the way back. Things were pretty quiet for most of the 2 hours that it would take to get up to our intended whale watching spot, But as the seagulls would encroach, that was very quickly about to change.
There's a tail. You have to go look at the captain's.
See you later, bud.
In front of the captain's area because it changes quite a bit.
How cool is that? How cool is that?
That was amazing.
So yeah,
There it goes.
and they'll generally dive at the same time, so it'll be two tails.
Are they friends? Are they married? Or
So they actually are solo. They're solitary.
that's a big boy. Wow. The whale watching itself lasted probably about 30 minutes, although to me it felt like a lot less because the entire boat, myself included, was literally white-knuckle tight gripping on the edge of the guardrails, waiting for the next surface breach and the whale's subsequent dive to follow. Never been whale watching before. Saw 5 whales, countless tail, got a lot of tail today. It's a great adventure, especially with this being the last whale watching of the season. We'd head out of the pass, back towards Prince Rupert, into town. And I don't know if you could ask for much more. What great timing it was, beautiful weather on a gorgeous afternoon here as we'd pull in to the Atlan terminal. At this point, I did have a few hours until my last stop of the night, which means I have just enough time for the best smash burgers in town. This is OV Burger Bar, a local favorite with over 90% of the menu being scratch-made, from hand-cut fries piled high with toppings for their poutines and house-made cheesecakes. But I came here for the Goliath, their signature smash burger with 2 quarter-pound patties, caramelized onions, sautéed mushrooms, bacon, burger sauce, the works, real cheddar, and a fried egg. And they're gonna yoked all over the table next to me. I mean, like, this burger was so juicy.
This place is insane. You wouldn't think you get burgers this good from a place like this. Prince Rupert is unreal.
And I would need every single calorie because my next stop would see me joining the Kaien Island martial arts team for their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. Sick. Or, as I like to call it, hugging some other grown men in blue pajamas. Now, as you are about to see, I am hands down the worst and least skilled guy here. But I love learning, and I love trying new things, which is something I've really been trying to lean into a lot more since I retired from professional hockey, and especially with all the opportunities that I found traveling this past year. And especially when you consider all the liquid sunshine that Prince Rupert gets during the rainy winters, I get why places like this matter so much to the community, because sometimes it'll be weeks before the sun ends up reappearing. So stuff like this, to the community at least, is such a good way to get a pick-me-up during those cold winter months. And although I definitely got humbled, I will 100% be back at the Kaien Island Martial Arts Studio the next time I come to town. The next morning, I was heading back on the water, but this time with thin line fishing charters. This year is our captain, James Lyons, who is going to be bringing us out, hopefully to catch a big boy today. And no, not the train, a fish. And James himself is also a former officer and recently called quits in the force to try his hand at charter fishing. Now, first off, James, thank you so much for your service, my friend. I don't think enough people say that in Canada these days, but I don't think it took very long for James to get us out and catch some crabs. I mean, it was literally within minutes. We had a whole bucket full, but to be the bad news bears, pretty much all of them were just small enough to escape the legal limit, and I would have to throw all of them back in. See you later, buddy. This afternoon was another gorgeous day here in Port Edward, but sadly the fish just weren't biting. They usually bite in the mornings, not the afternoons. And so James would end up turning our charter into a little bit of a sunset boating cruise. I gotta say, James is fantastic, and I would recommend giving Thin Line a try if you're in town and you want to try fishing. But the reality is, sometimes life doesn't go your way, or the way that you'd planned, and you might need a little help from today's paid partner, BetterHelp. Life can be tough, and whether you're bracing the winter blues of -30 in Winnipeg, have something that's been bubbling under the surface that you just need a little bit of help addressing, or relationship problems, it starts with BetterHelp, because BetterHelp is making it easier and more accessible than ever before to get therapy. You simply go online, sign up, answer a few questions about your unique situation, and in no time they'll have you matched with a therapist to help with your specific situation. And let's say you're undecided, well, let me help you get over the fence into a new start, into a new you, by getting you 10% off your first month of therapy at BetterHelp. And you go to the link in the video description, you click on that link and use my code TRAV, my name, TRAV, for 10% off your first month of therapy. And what are you waiting for? Start that journey towards a new and improved, better you. And thank you very much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now this right here is my friend Frank. And if he looks familiar, he was the captain on the Riptide tour that I alluded to earlier in the video that I did back in the spring. Now, personally, I call him Frank the Tank for obvious reasons, but point being is that Frank wears a lot of different hats around town. And today he's taking me out fly fishing, and so we would head down the Skeena River to do exactly that.
So we're gonna park our boat, the old Winnipeg 15. You throw the hazards on for 15 minutes, good for parking anywhere in the city.
Yeah, jump off, ask the valet to take care of it.
Yeah.
We park our boat, and following about 5 minutes of bushwhacking, we'd make our way to the water, set up shop, and I'm not kidding, within literally minutes, the fish were flying out of the water for us.
Oh, yeah. Your first trout. So this is an indigenous trout, actually. It's been living there for quite some time. Oh, wrong way. See you later, buddy.
Look at
There you go, you got it.
I got a fish. Is it a rainbow trout?
That's cutthroat trout.
Cutthroat trout.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. We lost him.
Bye.
Shit. We've already got like 4 bites, less than 30 minutes in. I screwed up 3 of the fish, which is fine. But looking forward to catching the next one. This is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Listen, Prince Rupert is awesome, and whether it's fly fishing with Frank the Tank, watching sunsets over the Pacific, devouring great burgers, stepping into a reborn, century-old train station serving phenomenal pizza or carbonated green tea, whale watching off Chatham Sound, soaring above the harbor in a float plane, rolling on the mats in Jiu-Jitsu, or any of the other amazing adventures that I've had in Prince Rupert to date, I love this place so much, and the people are what really make this place exactly what it is. Friendly, warm, and welcoming, and like I said earlier, this is why there is nowhere in Canada that I love visiting more than Prince Rupert. And while yes, I haven't been everywhere in the country, I'm pretty confident that Rupert will stay above that list for quite some time, and I hope this video inspires you to come do the same. And if you are looking for any recommendations for hotels in town, this go round I stayed at the Inn on the Harbour, which is a gorgeous waterfront hotel with a giant bathtub and ocean view. But you could also stay at the Ocean View Prestige Hotel just down the street that I stayed in last time I was here, and they got a pretty big gym, but both are great options. They are not chains and just good old Canadian owned and operated hotels that I can't recommend enough. And as much as I love coming here, I got to admit, I love leaving almost as much, because taking the train out of Rupert is without question the most breathtaking rail journey in the entire country that you have never heard of. And that is exactly what next video is all about. 5 days, 3,000 kilometers, stretching from the coastal rainforests here in Prince Rupert, east across the landscapes of the north, into Prince George, past the tallest peaks of the Canadian Rockies, and into Jasper National Park, where I'll spend 2 days in a way that you have never seen Jasper before reboarding and rolling out of the Rockies into some of the most glorious sunrises and fiery sunsets you will ever see from the seat of a train, rolling through the fall foliage of the prairies and over some of the most miraculous marvels of engineering that enabled Canada's second transcontinental railway to come to life, from eating and dining to showering and sleeping on board, you name it, before I make my way back home to the city I was born in, Winnipeg, Manitoba. All of that and more coming up next week, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on that adventure or any of the other Canadian history and stories that I'm telling along the way. If you want to learn more about any of the activities that I did in this video, there will be a link in the video description for all of them. But I want to know, have you ever been to Prince Rupert? Did you see me in town while I was here, or do you have an amazing story to share? Whatever it is, leave it in the comment section below, because I would love to chat with you about it down there. I want to say thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and thank you so much to you for watching. I can't wait to see you next week for the greatest train journey on Earth. I'll see you then.